This podcast is sponsored by Chili's, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, and Outrigger Resorts and Hotels.
Aloha and welcome to another episode of HNN Overtime, the Hawaii News Now Sports Podcast.
We're back at it.
We're back. Welcome back, everybody.
It's been a little bit of a break, guys.
Been a bit.
We're sorry about that, but
hey, we're back.
A lot going on. Lots
of things going on between the both of us. I'm Kyle Chinen, sports reporter at HNN, joined as always by the digital wizard.
Digital wizard. That's a new one, Kyle.
Davis Pitner, everybody.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, you are a digital wizard. He's been, you've been doing This Is Now. Now you are one of three pieces to the This Is Now machine.
Oh my God, I don't know about that.
just plucking away, just chugging along, and doing a lot of stuff for the digital as well. So you've been pretty busy.
Thank you, Kyle. I mean, same back at you.
Doing a lot of things.
You've been covering like a million sports going on.
It is what
it's
it is.
It's been busy in Hawaii. Kyle
It is
Chinen
a
has been
busy time of year.
Everywhere. He's been across this island. He's going wild.
I will say, in the last year and a half, I've been to places on the island that I had never been to growing up here.
Interesting.
Just saying.
That's pretty cool.
Thanks, work. But, busy time of year for sports as far as high school and all that. But we are here to talk one singular sport, Davis, and it's one that we're pretty familiar with. I'm sure the fans of Hawaii are
it's just a little
really
bit,
familiar with. We are talking the UH men's volleyball team. They're about to head off to Fairfax, Virginia, George Mason University, for the NCAA National Tournament, the 2023 National Tournament. And it's an exciting one, Davis.
It's really exciting. I mean, this is something that I personally was looking forward to. I mean, this was a big moment last year, too, when we were covering this. And it's something, you can't really say anything else except that this is a stellar team with stellar players. And
it's
exciting.
It's like borderline historic. It's borderline unheard of. For context, everybody, the UH men's volleyball team, the Rainbow Warriors, they're going after their third straight national title. Now, there's been a lot of back-to-backs. Obviously, we were the last two seasons back-to-back champs. Long Beach were back-to-back champs in 2018 and 2019. UCLA has had a bunch of back-to-back national champions. But the last time a team were consecutive, minimum three-peats. I mean, there's a lot of four-peats, but three-peats, we're in the 80s. So this is we're getting into, dynasty territory here. Dynasty. So big stakes, but I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. They're not a Cinderella team. They're not, remember last year with Princeton that made it into, or not Princeton, North Greenville.
It was North Greenville.
They beat Princeton. And we're not really a Cinderella. We are the big dogs. We're the faces.
We're really the target in the eyes of pretty much everyone in this tournament, and that it makes it dangerous. I mean, it makes it dangerous. It's a threat for UH. I mean, when you're that good, you have that big of a target on your back, and you already know all the teams are going to be aiming for you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they are the team to beat, obviously, the last year's champs, but and I think right now they're as dangerous as they have been all year. They are playing on fire right now. If you, Davis, or fans watch that last match they played for the Big West Championship against UC Irvine, they lost set 2 to Irvine. But if you remember watching that third set, oh my goodness, it was like.
Remember that? Yeah.
Ready for the ASMR? It's go time. It's go time, bro.
That was so cool. I mean, what a regular season for them too, finishing off the year 28-2, 2 losses. I mean, you just look at all the players, pretty much all of them first team Big West, right? All except for one, and it just goes to show how good of a team this is. I mean, these are all basically returning players from last year's winning team.
Yeah, this is pretty much the exact same lineup as last year. When it comes to that team that won the title in LA last year. But a lot of for some reason, like last year's record overall, they had a lot more losses than this year. Yeah, only 2 losses, and the 2 losses were against tournament teams.
Yeah.
And I think at that point people were like really worried, but I mean, they righted the ship. But when you look at it, they plowed through most of the preseason, going to their North Carolina road trip, to the outrigger. They have that 1 loss to Penn State, which, that's a name. We'll talk about the tournament later, but that's a name that could be familiar for UH again. And then they have that lone loss to Long Beach to kick off Big West Conference play. And from that second loss, they have not looked back, and they have just been on a tear.
Yeah.
To get a share of that Big West title with Long Beach. They both ended with the same conference schedule record, so they had to share the title. But just the buildup of this team, and you have to remember most of the preseason, we didn't see Jakob Tella, and we saw a lot of the reserves during preseason during the non-conference schedule, and then that's what I think was different from this year as opposed to last year. It was that lineup, right? It was your guys. It was Jakob, Jeremy Voss, Spiros Hakas, Chaz Galloway, Dimitrios Mouklias, Cole Hoagland, Brett Sheward. Like, those were the core guys. And you saw them throughout that entire season. But this year, you get to see other guys step up, especially in that road trip to North Carolina. You got to see a lot of the other guys, Ileo Choi, the reserve libero. You got to see Kanat Yakana, Alakai Todd, Philip Homler, all these guys, Keone Thim. Like, you got to see a lot of the reserves during the non-conference schedule, which should have given fans optimism for at least next year. But when they got everybody back in, Jakob got healthy. He had a bit of a knee issue throughout the preseason. So to get that core team back together, you just saw it all click towards the back half of the season.
Just goes to show that it's not only the players that are doing well, but it's also the coaching too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I mean, it's the amount of coaching to, have those reserves be ready for moments like these. And obviously looking at the record, 2 losses, it's clear that overall, not just the starters, I mean, this is a really good team, and it looks good for the future beyond this season, beyond this tournament too, for next year's team. You brought up Jakob. I just want to,
Here we go.
You already know. I'm looking at the stats. Kyle and I got our stats ready. Big stats, guys.
Pitner's printout. Here we go.
We're gonna. We should get that started. I kind of like
get a graphic.
Yeah, can we get a graphic going on over here? Well, we were mentioning some of the players, and I think it's only right that we bring up how well they did this year. I mean, just their stats were crazy, Kyle. I mean, we look at Jakob Tella. Sure, he missed some games, but still. 826 assists. Hold yourself. Whoa.
There's a lot of technology in here. I don't want to spray all over the computers, but wow, that was spit take level. Spit take level.
Jakob Tella, 826 assists, also getting Big West Player of the Year. It's the title that he held last year. Is it a surprise? I really don't think it is. I mean, he's one of the best players ever, maybe in UH history. I mean, he goes down as one of the best setters, of course.
Right. I mean, a little fun fact: he after the Big West title game, he is now tied for the most service aces in program history. So, one more ace. Doesn't matter if it's, he just needs one more ace, and he will be the all-time leader in service aces career-wise for the University of Hawaii. And just the lethal lefty, dude. He is so cool, calm, collected. We've talked to him, ad nauseum at this point. He's our guy.
He is.
Friend of the show.
We're still waiting.
Friend of the show.
Here. Yeah, I agree. I remember that interview, and I remember exactly what I called him because we were trying to give nicknames for Jakob and the other players, and I still remember Kyle, Stoneface Killer.
Stoneface Killer.
Yep.
I will say this year,
something.
from covering him, I feel like maybe he knows that this is his last hurrah at UH, but he's been screaming a lot. He's been celebrating.
I've been seeing that too. It's kind of like a different Jakob.
Oh, it's a little
year.
different. Yeah.
You see a little bit more emotion. So I don't know if my nickname still kind of works. I think it sounds cool. But
he's still lethal though.
Yeah, he's still lethal for sure.
And I mean, you want to talk about pin hitters? These guys on on UH, man. You got Chaz Galloway, Demi. They're in the triple digits when it comes to kills, and it's just been just a well-oiled machine for this team all year. And it's just, you always think like, oh, I mean, there might be a drop-off here. There's got to be a drop-off year. There hasn't been a drop-off year since like 2018, and that wasn't even a drop-off year. So
yeah, and you talk about Chaz Galloway too, and he's only a junior right now. He's we're going to be losing. We'll get to that in a bit.
Right.
A lot of players this year, including Jakob and a lot of the primary guys.
Right.
And you kind of look at who's going to be the next guy to kind of step up.
Right.
And I think Chaz Galloway is. I think. He's definitely had some of the most highlighted plays too.
He's a high flyer.
Yeah,
he can get
is a high
up
flyer.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely one of those guys that I'm looking forward to watching next year. I mean, definitely. I think he's going to be helping step up and get this team hopefully back in the same position that they're at now.
He's definitely, so he's played here for 3 seasons. This is his 3rd season. He's played here since he's been a freshman, right? So, and he made an immediate impact, but each year he's just been getting better and better. And this year I think he's been having a lights out year. So he'll probably want to be one of those guys that they'll lean on. Another one of those guys, Guilherme Vaz, up in the middle. He is still coming back. Excuse me. Just, G Vaz, he's going to be one of those other guys that you're going to have to rely on. He's a beast when it comes to being in the middle. So, using those pieces that are going to remain, finding those other pieces, and I think UH should be okay. Like we talk about, we got to see a lot of the reserves this past season, so they'll step up. UH has some big time commits coming to the program next year out of the OIA, so it's one of those things where they're reloading, but the senior class, don't get me wrong, will be missed. This group has 2 national titles to their name, 3 Big West Conference championships to their name, just a laundry list of accolades that we could just spend the entire episode talking about. But they will be missed. Do not get that twisted. They will be missed.
Absolutely. And as much as we look at the future, I mean, coming up in this tournament, you have to feel almost very confident for this upcoming team. I mean, like I was mentioning before, almost all of them Big West first-team players, and the guy leading it, I mean, I'm just looking alongside Jakob for the most amount of kills on the team, Demetrius.
The Greek freak, man.
The Greek freak, 356 kills. That's right, everyone. You heard it correctly. 356. He's an all-star.
Demi has been on fire. He's so cool when he serves. I've been at a lot of matches. First off, the finger tape, we don't need no sprained fingers. That's sick. And then pretty sure he kisses the ball every time he goes to set.
Yeah, it's his signature move.
It's his signature move. It's the kiss of death. And then he just sends that into oblivion, sends the ball into oblivion. But speaking, staying on the Isle of Greece, we have to talk about his fellow Greek teammate in Spiros Haka. Spiros is another one of those guys that has just been lights out for this team. He and Demi have kind of put their mark on this program. Demi actually could have stayed another year, but he decided at the end of the season he'll turn pro. He'll go back to Greece and figure that all out. But these guys have just been putting on an impressive body of work. Like it's just an incredible run by this team.
Another little stat. Spiros 315.
So
315 kills.
315, 356. What more do you want from our friends from Europe? Yeah. Like our friends from Greece. Like they are just so out of this world, out of this country.
Yeah. I just want to throw one more stat. I mean, altogether, the overall team statistics,
right?
Hawaii this season, 1,328 kills. So if you add up those 2 players, that's almost half of the amount of kills all season.
Oh yeah,
just from those 2, which just goes to show, how lethal of a team this is.
Oh, it's lethal,
and how good they're probably going to play in this upcoming tournament. I mean, you have to almost feel very confident, like I was saying.
And I'll give a quick shout out to the other 2 local boys. We got 2 serve serving subs in Kanayakana, Keone Thim, they are lethal when they get called up to, get a serve in, get a couple serves in. Keone Thim, he is almost an ace machine. He is a fan favorite. He's hitting the ball like dang near 100 miles an hour.
You realize you kind of see the crowd get excited when he steps up. Is that?
Oh, yeah.
You're at the games.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what I've been seeing?
It gets real loud when the PA announces Keone is into serve. Like, he is a fan favorite. And speaking of fans, shout out to the UH fans for swarming UC Irvine. It looked like the Sand Sheriff in there. So I already see fans that I follow on Twitter and social media. They're already saying, they got their tickets. My auntie's actually going.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my grandpa's sister is going. So she's like, "Oh, are you going?" And I'm like, "Oh yes. By the way, I'm going, so I'll be there." I don't think we mentioned it at the top of the show.
I don't think we mentioned that. Yeah, everyone. Kyle Chinen, live reports over at the tournament. He's going to be covering it all. Interviews, footage, all the above. Anything you see is all Kyle Chinen. I mean, dude, you're going to be busy. I wish I was there with you.
I wish I had my travel partner, but it's all good. You'll be missed, but I know you'll be helping me back here. But
absolutely.
Yes, it'll be fun. It'll be crazy, but hey, how could I not go for this one, right? Like, it was just so the stakes are obviously so high, but risk reward. There's a lot of risk into for them, high stakes, but also that reward, man.
It's a big reward.
That's a big one.
It's a big reward.
That's a big reward.
It's exciting. I mean, we're all going to be looking forward to your reports out there, and just your coverage of this exciting moment for not only the team but the entire state.
Oh, the state has rallied around this team, and they will continue to rally around this team. Excuse me. It's just been so fun to watch. Every match that I went to this season, I didn't go to every single match, but every match that I was at, it was packed. The stand was packed to the gills, and it felt like a championship match every night. It was crazy. It was so fun, so impressive to see that, like, they're rallying around them during like a, mid-season Big West match.
Yeah.
But it's been so fun. I can't wait to get out there. I can't wait to talk to the team. I actually started doing some reporting on this already. Got to talk to who else? But
you have to.
Jakob Tella.
Jakob Tella.
He, the newly minted back-to-back Big West Player of the Year. Got to chat with him the other day before, they head out. They head out on Monday. And then that's when the craziness begins. So I think let's listen to Jakob. Let's see what he has to say. He talks about, getting that award, and then, just what's to come, for this tournament and how they're kind of using the extra time off. Well, when we get back, we'll talk a little bit about the format of the tournament, who they could be seeing. So, Jakob,
send it to the interview.
Guys just went through a gauntlet of a Big West schedule and the Big West tournament. Just to have this week and those extra couple of days next week, when you guys wait for the semifinal match, how important are these days of not having a match to worry about this week to just kind of get the body right, to get kind of reset for the tournament?
Yeah, I think it's great for us, and it's the first time we have an off weekend, and I can't remember last time. It's been over 10 weeks, I think, but it's just always good to have a weekend off, and just kind of recuperate and just focus on some things in the practice gym. Is always valuable. So after finishing a really tough schedule for us, it's good to finish on top of that, be sure to qualify for the NCAA tournament, and then we know what's coming ahead and we ready for it. Yeah, I mean, it's an honor, and I still think that there's a lot that has to be played. There's still our best volleyball is coming ahead of us next week, so we're pretty much just set on what's coming ahead. And of course, I think the award goes to the whole team because it's a team sport, and we wouldn't be in this position without everybody on the team. So I think that it's shared among all my teammates, and we're ready for what's coming next week. I think it says a lot about all of us, to be honest, because it's not just me who's gone through injuries this season. It's been many other guys who's been usually starting. But yeah, being able to come back and still play at a high level, it just speaks a lot about who we are as athletes and also teammates, because we're always here to support each other. So just being able to come back and play well, that's something that kind of goes to all of us. Yeah, I mean, I could never imagine coming in. I was just happy to play some volleyball in the stand and, yeah, just be there and be on the court. But, like, from looking at kind of back in perspective, everything I've accomplished, I think it's just been a blessing all the way through, and just all the people around me that have been there to support me. I couldn't do without them, so I'm just happy to be in this position now. But, again, I haven't finished my career yet, so hoping to finish the best way possible with a three-peat.
Well, there you have it. You heard it from the man himself, the all-star Hawaii's guy, Jakob Tella. Clearly a lot of excitement for this upcoming tournament, Kyle.
Oh, absolutely. I also love that over the years of interviewing him, right now, like, I feel like he only speaks in Pidgin. So
I saw there was like a video that came out of them just talking in Pidgin.
He, whenever we ask him, like, if he was kind of banged up after a match, we're like, oh, how you feeling? You know, how's the health? And he goes, oh, cherry, brah. And, you know, we asked him, side note, we all asked him on senior night, like, how he's going to feel. And he's like, oh, all hamajang. So we was just like, this guy
he's a full-on local now.
boy. He's embraced it. Brother Jake, Uncle Jake, whatever you want to call him. He's the man.
Shout out to you, Jakob, if you're watching it. Oh, my God.
Well, speaking of them, we're going to continue talking about this tournament. Let's take a look at the bracket here. So I have it up right now.
Yep.
7-team tournament, Davis, with essentially a play-in on our side of the bracket. So if you let's break it down here. We got number 1 seed UCLA. I know a lot of Hawaii fans have kind of voiced their displeasure with that, but
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of one of them. I thought we should have been first, but obviously there's an explanation on why they didn't get first.
And you know, we asked Charlie Wade when they got back, you know, he's okay with the decision as well. So, you know, it is what it is at this point. So UCLA, number 1 seed, number 2 is us, UH. In the 3, you got Penn State. So if we look at the bracket here, UCLA up at the top at the 1 seed, they will play either Long Beach State or Grand Canyon. Now, those are 2 at-large bids. So Long Beach State, obviously, they lost in the Big West semifinal, but they were share of the Big West regular season championship. They get in with a at-large bid. The other at-large bid, Grand Canyon University out of Arizona. They've had a pretty stellar year. They kind of burst onto the scene there. The Lopes, they play each other for a chance to play UCLA. And then in our side of the bracket for UH, in the quarterfinals, you got Penn State. We told you guys, Penn State, the team that took away our 20-something plus match win streak away from us at the beginning of the season. That one was a bit of a stinger. Penn State, they are in our side of the bracket. They will play the winner of either Ohio State or King from Tennessee out of the Conference Carolinas. They play for a shot to play Penn State, and then they will play for a shot at us. So, you know, 7-team tournament, pretty stacked from the top wise. So it'll be a fun matchup. Also, this might be a way for the volleyball gods, I'm just going to put it out there, to give us Hawaii Long Beach again. It's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like every time they're never going to put Long Beach on the same side of our bracket, just for the fact for that rivalry to exist. And, you know, I think this year, though, the rivalry this year has to be Penn State, because I think UH, they just have that sour taste in their mouth from that last time. And this is just going to be an exciting one, I will say. But, you know, King getting in through Conference Carolinas, that's good for, you know, growing the game. It's also, you know, just really nice to see other teams that you don't necessarily get to see in these tournaments, like Grand Canyon. So I think it's just going to be really fun.
From what you've seen, Penn State is one of the most dynamic teams.
Oh, they're pretty dynamic, yeah.
Could we see, though, I mean, as we saw last year, the North Greenville team, they made some upsets, to be, end up playing us.
Right.
What are we feeling like Ohio State King possibly getting the upper hand over Penn State?
You know, anything is possible. It's playoff volleyball. It's playoff season. It's the national tournament. Anything can happen, and it's just one of those things where you never really know, because when you have a team like King who doesn't get the exposure, doesn't get the the looks that we get, or Ohio State or things like that, we don't know how that's going to pan out.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, man. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, you really don't know. And, one thing that I enjoyed watching last year was the North Greenville team, just because of the adversity that they got over. I mean, no one really expected this team. And that's what I kind of like about these smaller programs. I mean, they don't have probably the resources as these bigger schools, UH, Penn State, UCLA.
Right.
And to see these smaller schools have such a big impact, and even volleyball aside, you look at other sports. I mean, March Madness. I mean, you have these teams come out of nowhere that we didn't think had a chance.
Yeah.
So you really never know, and it just shows how sports is constantly evolving, and you never can count a lower guy out.
Right. And I apologize. I was on my phone. I just want to get this right. So the last time that if the scenario plays out that Ohio State gets the play-in game, they beat King, they get Penn State. The last time those two teams met, Ohio State came out victorious in a 5-setter.
Really?
Yeah, they downed them at Penn State. So
wow.
I think
that's interesting.
That'll be an interesting quarterfinal to look at, because Penn State, obviously they're probably going to be real salty about losing to Ohio State recently. Ohio State, they have that momentum. They know, like, hey, we took them to 5 and we beat them, so let's use that. So that'll be interesting. So we don't know exactly how that'll pan out, and if Ohio State falls to King, like I said earlier, that's another one where no one really knows what King does. Yeah. Because they're one of those guys that are that flew under the radar as far as national coverage goes. So they'll be kind of that slippery underdog type of North Greenville type. So that's just interesting bracketology right there for you.
It is.
The way they picked that one up. But either way, I know that side of the bracket is gunning for Hawaii. Penn State, we have that familiarity with them from the beginning of the year. Ohio State, we've played them in the past. We didn't play them this season. So it'll be another one of those kind of head scratchers getting into the film room. They have a day's notice to prepare. So they just have to kind of figure that one out for them. But, dude, I'm just excited.
I'm excited too. That's going to be really cool for you to be there. And you know what I love too? I mean, we went to UCLA last year during that trip, and one thing that I love is just how Hawaii travels.
Oh, absolutely.
Fans. I mean, I just remember that the last game, the championship game, and just seeing the amount of Hawaii fans out there. Like, I'm pretty sure we had more fans for UH than Long Beach. Like, I mean,
and the thing
I'm
is,
pretty sure we had that. You saw all the tea leaves out. You saw everything.
And Long Beach was what, like a 2-hour drive from
that's exactly the point.
From LA. So I mean, that's the thing. They travel. Back in the COVID season at Ohio State in Columbus, Ohio, when there were limited, amounts of seats during the COVID season, they still showed up.
Yeah.
They were still, packing that place out. So I have no doubt that Hawaii fans are going to be there. I already, like I mentioned earlier, the fans, they're already buying their tickets. They're already coming. They're already, I had to make sure I booked a hotel first, because the Hawaii fans are going to book.
Just in case you didn't.
They're going to overbook the hotel.
Someone could have taken our sports reporter's room.
Hey, UH fans, I know y'all got me. So, if there was a couch or anything, I probably could have just crashed there. I just need places to plug in and get free Wi-Fi. So that's all I need. I'll sleep in the rent-a-car for this team, dang it. But it's going to be so much fun. I know the fans will be there. The team will feel that support. They've always talked about that ad nauseum, about that team support from the fans. It's one of the more unique things I've ever seen. From high school, I mean, sports fans here are passionate regardless. So, in high school, I went to Mililani. We had the passionate fan base there, playing against teams like Kahuku. That's probably how I would compare the UH men's volleyball fans too would be like the Kahuku Red Raiders. Come football season, they show up and they show out. It's an incredible sight, man.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, that's the one thing with volleyball, and especially with this team, and especially in the past couple of years, is that they've been ranked number 1. And I think it's always been about putting Hawaii up on the map. Because,
absolutely.
We don't really get that recognition in a lot of other sports, and we don't have, obviously a professional team here.
Right.
So it's this volleyball team that kind of is like our pro team. I mean, this is something that represents not only UH, but like I was mentioning before, the entire state. I mean, this is Hawaii's program. This is how we get ourselves on that map. And these guys, even though it's a small group, they're representing, all of us.
Absolutely.
Really.
And, even, we have a big European contingency on that team. They've embraced it. We just talked about Jakob, Philipp Humler, all of the international students. They've embraced the culture. The local boys on the team have embraced them as well. So they really are Hawaii's team, man. It's so great to see. It's so cool to see. Speaking of rankings, they've been ranked number 1 pretty much consecutively. They were number 2 in the country for 1 week after the Outrigger after the Outrigger Invitational. I remember everybody the buildings were on fire.
There was like some panic in the streets.
Yeah, there was a little panic.
Like, wait,
you ever see that?
What is happening?
You know that meme of SpongeBob's brain with all the file cabinets and he can't remember his name? Yeah, that's kind of how it was for a week. But then they righted the ship completely after 1 week, and they've been at number 1 ever since. So a little bit of a scare there, but hey, what's a little adversity for this team?
Exactly, and I kind of want to finish off, especially one thing for you as someone who's been at those games and has experienced the team, the atmosphere. Yeah. Is this team ready?
Oh, I feel this team is more ready than any of the other teams we've seen in the past. Let's talk 2021 during the COVID year in Ohio State against BYU. Yes, that was an experienced group. Yes, that was all of the current, those 5-year seniors, 4-year seniors, that incredible group. They hadn't played, right? The season got canceled the year prior. COVID had kind of shut them down. So they weren't exactly firing on all cylinders as, we know they could. And that other team, again, another team, that was their first year kind of together with that lineup and a lot of moving pieces to figure that one out. But, I think this team, having that year under their belt, having the season that they had, having just that connectivity, that chemistry, they're ready. And, a little adversity throughout this season is only a good thing. Going to coach speak, it's like rather they have it happen then than now, right? So they know what it feels like. They know what they need to get done. And I think this could be something special this coming week.
I'm excited, dude.
I'm excited too.
I'm super bummed out that I'm not going to be there, but I'm overly excited to see everything that you get.
It's going to be so much fun.
For listeners, viewers, when are you going to get over there? When can we expect some stuff?
So I get in, I leave Monday night. I'm so excited. I don't even care about the 8-hour plane ride. It's travel there Monday night. I should get there around Tuesday sometime. TBD on if I will be able to leave the airport, go through all the things that I need to get
check
to.
The socials.
Check
the socials.
Yeah, check for sure. Check social media. I will be posting any updates. As far as on-air reports, those officially start on Wednesday for This Is Now, for online, for our newscast. But Tuesday, I will try to get something out, whether it be on-air or online for y'all. Of course, I will keep you guys updated throughout the week. I will have, lives with Dylan and Ash in the digital center. Oh, sorry, Mike. I'll be out there for our evening newscast, sunrise. So you should be seeing a lot of me.
It's a lot of Kyle Chinen out there.
I have to check the weather. The last trip I went on was to Louisiana, and I packed shorts because it's Louisiana in the spring, in March.
Yeah.
It was freezing. So I have to make sure that I'm appropriately
packed for everything
packed and dressed.
Everything.
So you might be seeing the old my old cowboy jacket, the little fur on the denim
We're all
action.
looking forward to that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm in Virginia. Why not?
Why not?
It's going to be a lot of fun. I will be keeping you guys all up to date throughout the week, however long they go. And yeah, it'll be fun, man. I can't wait.
Dude. I'm excited for you and excited to see what this team could do. Obviously, a lot of hype for them, and sky's the limit. I mean,
the sky is the limit, and once they surpass that, who knows?
We'll see what happens.
That's a good line.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Good line.
That was pretty good. I think that's a good way to end it, Kyle.
I think it's a good one.
I think that's good.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching this episode of HNN Overtime. To listen to any of our other episodes, you can head to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get the rest of our HNN podcasts. And be sure to check out the video cast of this episode on our YouTube channel. There's a playlist right now, right?
There is a playlist.
There's a HNN Overtime playlist. You can watch all of your favorite episodes. You can hear us mumble on for hours on end.
Ones.
We have some fun ones.
Yeah, we've had some good ones.
We've had some really
you guys got to check it out for sure.
Yeah, staying on the volleyball topic, you go to that playlist. Check out the Jakob Tella and Charlie Wade episode from last year, and hopefully we'll be having a follow-up episode to that one this year.
Oh, we have to, yeah.
I mean, gots to. But yeah, again, thank you so much for listening or watching. We'll catch you later. This has been Davis Pitner. I'm Kyle Chinen. Aloha.
This podcast is sponsored by Chili's, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, and Outrigger Resorts and Hotels.